What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to be talking about new visions that are coming over to the global side eventually. I'm ranking all the ones that are currently that we know about. Of course, if you come to this video after the release date, make sure you're paying attention to that release date. If you come to the video afterwards, I'm just going to laugh at you because, hey, why is like this new vision unit not in this list? Because I don't know about it yet. So please don't be that kind of person who comes in later and says, hey, why is this not in here? Why is this not in here? That's all I want to say for this part, so let's get into my my project here. So first of all, a big disclaimer. Always keep in mind that this is my opinion. This is my opinion on my experiences playing the JP side. Some people may have never played the JP side, or just follow me just because I do play the JP side, but yeah. This is my experiences that I've learned through the JP side, learning all the units. Because as you guys know, I've got most of them. Not bragging, that's just a fact. But other than that, yeah, please keep in mind that this is my opinion. So obviously you'd only be here if you care about my opinion. If they're your favorites, you can still make them work in your own account. Even if I may list them in a category you may not find satisfactory, you can probably still make them work. All units, you can make them work in some way. Everybody always does. And of course, this is the biggest thing. Of course, this is not. This is just like I said before. This does not include any global exclusive Neo Vision units because we don't know of any yet. But please don't be that kind of guy that comes in late and says, "Hey, where's Neo Vision Elena at?" I don't know. You tell me. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move into the good category. So I've got hand-selected units here. I went through the entire list of all Neo Vision units, and these are the ones that I selected that are going to be a good category, which means that they will always be good and they're definitely worth going for. 100%. Tifa. I mean, everybody knows about Tifa now. I think even like the most casual players in the game on the global side know about Neo Vision Tifa at this point. She's free. She's obtainable now. She's really strong, she's amazing, and she gets lots of other things that can help her out in the future, so yeah, it's Tifa. Everybody knows Tifa, that was a given. Next, a new unit that just came out recently. Morphine and Daisy, who power crept Cecil, but from what people said, it's a fair way of power creeping him, because it's not like he got any worse. Cecil is still very good. People are still using Cecil even if they don't have Daisy and Fina. It's just that they have some very nice things about them that are just slightly better now. But still, Cecil is way strong even now. Like, he lasted so long, so it's only fair. New Vision CG Furion. 100% true to wield, 6 times cap. Yeah, I said that by the way. 200% true to wield with nothing needed, no equipment or anything. So he has the freedom of selecting pretty much any weapon that he wants. So he has a multitude of killers on the. This is how Furion should have been built in the first place. Can equip almost. I'm pretty sure you can equip every weapon in the game. Access to a ton of killers, and very, very good chaining. So that's how you should have been built in the first place. So if you're looking for a DPS and you have no attachments to anything, you just want a meta unit, Furion is definitely the one to go for. He is the complete package. Now I will say that his Brave Shift form is really bad. We don't need another Little Burst finisher, we don't need another finisher, we have Tifa for that. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to be like a finisher, but it's just like not that good. So I don't know. I don't like. Just stick with his normal form. Stick with his normal form. You don't need his you don't need his Brave Shift form. Next, someone who I think will be delayed on global because we know how Gumi handles these things. Lauren is insanely powerful, really strong breaker, top tier breaks, but it can also chain with wind, or thunder, or lightning, or just just with any kind of element you want because her chaining move is non-elemental, so you can use anything. She also has 130% wind in lightning and perils, so that's quite good. On top of recasting breaks and things, that's why she's here. one of the top damage dealers in the game too. Even without the 6 times cap, she gets over 100 plus times mods with her main chaining move. Next, Volca and Citra, and they got enhancements and Neo Vision at the same time, so they provide a lot of things like attack, like it's more on top of what they were already doing, and plus they have triple cast permanently, so they have. Just go watch my recent trial video on how good they are. Light and Peril, Light and Imbue, AoE Light and Imbue, Light and Peril, and also buff at the same time. Although I guess you would have to use that charm immunity first, but they can still do a lot of things all at once. And they can also be a quad casting light chainer, magic chainer, physic or spirit healing chainer, and a Wraith Shift form, which is permanent by the way. Very definitely recommend. I just use them in Dark Visions and they're amazing. Yeah. Next, CG Rain, very strong meta type unit. They're trying to really make sure that everybody in your team can do damage in some way. So Rain is primarily a buffer support, but he has lots of damage capabilities. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So you can put him in your team. He can be your support, but then he can chain afterward. He has very strong chaining. He can imbue himself and one other person in the same move. So what I mean by that, one of his abilities is he imbues himself with fire, but then it allows you to select someone else, and he imbues that person with fire as well, and he has triple cast permanently. So for Dark Visions, you could imbue 2 people, and by the way, it's a chaining move. But he's also chaining while imbuing someone else. His only negative really is he has no Fire and Peril on his normal form. His Fire and Peril is in his Brave Shift form. You have to find someone else who can Fire and Peril, but other than that, amazing. He has a lot of other things like AoE Beast Killer 100%, so that's quite good. So yeah, very good unit. Next, Neo Vision Aerith, and this is in the same vein as Neo Vision CG Rain, where she will be your primary healer, but in a Brave Shift form, she can also be your DPS. And I've used her in I've used her in Dark Visions for a Brave Shift form as well. She has quad cast light damage, but she can also be a finisher for other elements like light, fire, ice, and thunder, or lightning, I guess. Thunder, lightning, whatever. So yeah, she's very strong in that regard, but she also has a lot of top tier healing and things like that too. So yeah, Aerith is definitely in a good category. Next, CG Axstar. Now, ignoring the meme of his S-Team arm, which is really terrible, and apparently even in his Brave Shift form, which is Voodoo Wield, he has no 6 times cap in his Brave Shift form, but he's much better as a TDH unit, apparently, in his Brave Shift form still. So there's that. But his Limit Burst is deceptively very powerful because it's for some reason it's backloaded, like really heavily backloaded. Even if you look at the wiki, it will not look like it's backloaded. So you guys go check back and look at some of my Axstar players there, where he hits insanely hard with his Limit Burst. So he is, I would not say he's a Limit Burst damage dealer, but his Limit Burst is the primarily focus on his kit, but the rest of his kit's strong too. So yeah, he's definitely one that I would recommend getting. He's a very solid damage dealer. Now there's a question mark behind Gibranth because I think it would be confirmed if we don't get Gibranth in Global, that he's like a weird JP exclusive thing. I don't know why, but the reason why there's a question mark there is because we don't know if we're going to get him at Global or not. So maybe that will be in place for like Zargaboth or something, but we don't know how good Zargaboth would be. But yeah, I don't know. So in the meantime, Gibranth, let's just pretend that he might come to Global. Gibranth is a physical cover tank, but he can also provoke. He's defense scaling damage dealer. He has 150% Voodoo Wield for defense, so all he needs is his TMR, which gives him 50%, which is very strong. And he's in the same vein as Rain and Aerith, where he's your cover tank, but then he can also do really good damage. In his Brave Shift form, he has competitive chaining in his Brave Shift form, and he also can do Dark Imbue. That's quite nice. So yeah, Gibranth is definitely one of those good ones. If Vaughn didn't exist, Gamroth would be used everywhere, but it does exist, so it's a little harder to put him in some places, but I did use him in the Two-Headed Dragon Extreme Trial. It was really easy to put him in there. And the last one, I don't know, do people actually care about last will? I mean, I made a showcase on him, I think, and no one really cared about it, so that's why I don't really talk about him that much, because I just don't think there's any interest. But he is very strong. His Brave Shift form, when you're able to get into his Brave Shift form, he's a monster of a damage dealer. So, you guys, maybe you just weren't around when I made that video, maybe you're just coming into my channel now. Yes, he's very strong and I definitely recommend it. For those coins that you're getting right now, maybe you're watching this video right now, of course, it's relevant, but you're watching this video much like in the far future. Well, there are these coins that you can trade for 2 units, or 1 unit, 1 prism, and Lastwell is one of them, so you could pick him if you wanted to. Now that's the good, now we have to go into the mediocre category. Now these are units that are slightly flawed or not really needed. Because remember, I'm talking about global players, and this is I'm putting my feet in your shoes of like free-to-play players. There are some flaws, not too big of a flaw, but there are some flaws in here that make them not as good as the other ones. Darkfina, you want to be in her Brave Shift form because she has a very strong Limit Burst, and she also has stacking and wind chaining. But unfortunately, she's one of those units that is not able to stay in her Brave Shift form permanently. She changes back. So unfortunately, she loses a lot of power when she changes back because her normal form is just not as good as her Brave Shift form, unfortunately. And the same thing could be said for Emperor. You want to stay in his Brave Shift form because his Limit Burst is very strong. His Limit Burst is the chaining Limit Burst, so it's quite good. But unfortunately, just like Darkfina, can't stay in that form for very long. So he changes back, and then you're back to doing mediocre damage because he doesn't have any chaining whatsoever in form. Eileen, this one was a tough one to put here, but unfortunately, yes, she suffers the same fate as the other two, where she does not stay in her Brave Shift form for very long. But she has a lot of nice things to do, like she has Machine Killer, and like she can provide to everybody. She has Limit Burst Crystal support. She has very good finishing capabilities, but she doesn't stay in that form for very long, unfortunately. Dark Knight Leon, actually, he's really only here because his Brave Shift form sucks. I'm just gonna completely say that he is perfectly fine. I call him the best budget, like he's one of the best budget DPS in the game right now. For his normal form, his Brave Shift form, actually you lose damage if you go to his Brave Shift form. He does not have the 6x cap, and his moves are just meh. So just, if you want Dark Knight Leon, this is not, he's on the precipice of mediocre, only because of his Brave Shift form. His normal form is completely fine. He has the 6x cap because of his enhancements or whatever he got, and all those kind of things that added up, so Dark Knight Leon in his normal form is completely a-okay by me. He's only mediocre in here because of his Brave Shift form, guys. Pay attention to that. It's just bad. So, just go look at the wiki and you'll see. You can compare the two sides and you'll say, oh yeah, I like the normal form a lot better. Okay, and CG Soul is really only here because, again, I'm looking at free-to-play players' budgets, and what does CG Soul really do besides Dark Visions? Very strong finisher in Dark Visions, his Limit Burst and his Brave Shift form, a very strong ice finishing move, and he's single target. But other than that, like, he doesn't really do anything. Like, if you're going for Kuja, you really don't need to go for Soul. This is kind of what the vein I've gone down. And this, again, guys, this video was really hard to make. This came down to the wire in a lot of cases. I'm like, I want to put him here, but like, I gotta put him here. And there's a few people in here that they're so close to getting to the good category. It's a little hard to put them in certain categories, you guys. Remember, guys, this is my opinion, but please don't get mad at my opinion. Please, let me have my opinion. You guys can have your opinion in the comment section down below if you want. But anyways, Soul just doesn't really provide anything that's not already there with Kuja. For example, Kuja can still be cleared. Sinzar just cleared one of the newest trials on the JB side of Kuja, if I remember correctly. So Kuja is more than fine with anything, and I've always said this, that Kuja is so over-tweaked to the point where he basically is a Neovision unit. So when he becomes a Neovision unit, he's gonna be a monster. So Soul just really isn't needed unless you really like the character, and I know there's some people in the comment section that really like the CG Soul character, or just Soul in general, so I apologize that he's not in the good category for his Soul, but he's only here because you just don't really need him. He really isn't needed. The next one, Edel, she's very similar to Rain, where she can support a little bit, not as good as Rain though. Her support kit is not nearly as good, but she can imbue, she can AoE imbue Dark and also Earth, and she can do some other things, but like AoE killers and stuff. But I just feel like she's just not that good. Her chaining modifiers are a lot lower. You have to build them up. Certain bosses now are becoming a lot faster. You have to start doing more damage. 7 stars can still compete, by the way, but I'm just saying that her kit is just not good enough. I just don't like it. I just don't think that it's... Maybe in the future she'll become good, but for now she's just in the point where she's too slow. Her wave shift form is just too slow at this point. Her kit does not work. Because she still has that 12 turn cooldown thing where, yes, it's very, very powerful, but when is the last time anything's lasted 12 turns? I don't know. Not many things last 12 turns right now, so it really isn't needed. Next, this was a very hard one to put in. Fina and Lid. Now don't get me wrong, they have a very good support kit and they're a top tier breaker. They have really good breaks. They have 84% breaks on demand, and in their brave shift form they're CDH DPS unit. They're basically just a DPS unit in there. Now you could argue, yes, Silka is also a DPS in their brave shift form, but in the opposite of that, a magic or spirit scaling broadcasting DPS is far more valuable than just another physical DPS, right? That's kind of what I've come down to. Now keep in mind, both of the beach ladies, Silka and also Fina and Lid, are permanent. They can shift over to the brave shift form permanently. So there's only some units that are old that can stay in that form. These two are some of them. So just really unfortunate that it's just their brave shift form is just really mediocre, but their normal form is fine. They have a lot of good things about them in their normal form, stuff like that. And I know this is going to be a surprise to everybody, but yes, Cloud is starting to show his age in the game. Sure, he is still very strong, but his modifiers are starting to show its age compared to other damage dealers like Furion, for example. Cloud in his normal form needs a lot of help. He has no imbues, he needs the brave shift form to get his imbue with Thunder, and that takes a lot of time. I'm going to do things quickly. So yeah, unfortunately Cloud is going to be in the mediocre section, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He is more than capable of clearing all content. It's just that he does not compete. Like, if you put Cloud and Furion side by side, they're in terms of chaining, that is, because I think in terms of finishing, I think Cloud might be better than Furion in brave shift form. But in terms of chaining here, guys, in terms of chaining, when you put them side by side, Furion is the easy winner. He has access to a whole bunch of killers, access to every single killer weapon that you would want, and Cloud has to be built around, only a certain number of killers. He can't equip every weapon, stuff like that. So Cloud is starting to definitely show his age a little bit here, and yes, he's still strong and he's a very big favorite, so please don't come at me with pitchforks. I just want to remind you again, my opinion. So, next, Red 13, and this is only because, again, this is another one of those units that doesn't stay in his brave shift form for very long, and it's just he's okay, but he's just not great. He's just okay. He's an okay damage dealer who has very good Mirage attacks, and he has lots of Mirage attacks on his gaming moves and things, but it's just okay to me. It's not phenomenal, and I just don't know if you're gonna even find him on your friends' anyways. I don't find him anymore. I barely found him in the first place. Most people's hype was on Tifa. And finally in the mediocre section, only again because of the turn count for his Brave Shift form. And don't get me wrong, Dark Vertas is a very strong damage dealer, and his mods are still pretty high even to this day, but just another dark damage dealer that you could just wait for Dark Knight Leon for that. Wait, Dark Vertas does have a lot of killers, over 100% killers in some, and I think there's like 3 killers that he has 100% in. So I mean, he is very strong, and he absorbs dark and all that good stuff. It's just that he takes a long time to deal some damage, and then when you want to start dealing even more damage, he's back in his normal form again. That kind of sucks. So there's that unfortunate discovery. And finally, the bad category. Now don't get me wrong, again, these was very hard to manage here. These ones are probably the lowest of the low in terms of value that you could look at as a free-to-play player. I'm gonna go over them in detail. I know that this video is very long, so I hope you guys are staying with me so far. If you watch all the way to this part of the video, make sure to type in #cloud. #cloud will be the keyword for this part of the video if you watch this far. I want to do that as a test. Anyways, moving on. So Blossom Sage Sakura is another one of those units that takes a long time to get into a Brave Shift, unfortunately, but I think actually she can permanently stay. It's the problem of getting to that point. It takes like 4 turns for her to get into a Brave Shift form. And one of the other reasons why she's here is because she has very weird chaining family. Graviton Cannon, no one uses that anymore. Dead family on the JB side, and even on the global side it's pretty. So Graviton Cannon is a really bad family. If she had a different family, she'd not be in the bad category anymore. Because her normal form is fine. It's just the Graviton Cannon is terrible. And it also takes a long time to get into a Brave Shift form, which is a phenomenal finisher, which would have been good in Dark Visions. Unfortunately, it's not because she takes so long. So there's that, unfortunately. Nalu, someone who I was excited about, but unfortunately she's just some weird thunder finisher in her Brave Shift form. Her chaining modifiers are not competitive at all. They're pretty low, and she just doesn't really do anything. She has some killers and stuff, but it's just like her only thing that's special is that she's a thunder damage dealer. That's it. So she's really just, I wouldn't even worry about it unless you don't have anyone else. Cloud is here, and yes, I gave him some decent reviews in my review of him, but he needs a lot of help. Sure, he has the positives. Let's go with the positives first. Yes, he has a lot of chaining modifiers, like a lot of chaining families. I mean, he has several chaining families in his kit, which is very good. I'll say that it's very good, but then there's a lot of negatives. He's another one of those units that doesn't stay in his Brave Shift form for very long, and you want to stay in his Shift form, unfortunately. He has no imbues. You have to imbue him for you, and then he needs a lot of support doing this kind of thing. There's that, and finally, Balthier. I think he'll be better. Maybe in the global side might be more compatible, but he's just another one of those units that doesn't stay in his Brave Shift form. I want him to Brave Shift form because it's really powerful, but it's just that you can't stay there for very long, guys. You can't stay in that form for very long. This sucks because he changes back after a few turns, and his Brave Shift form is very strong. It's just that you can't take advantage of it. But the positive light that he has, if you're a Balthier fan, is that he has bolting strike frames. So in global, he has actually some synergy with some other units that may have bolting strike frames. So there's that list, and let's get into the conclusions segment. This is in conclusion. No Neovision unit is truly bad. Seriously, if you have a Neovision unit, your account is already much stronger than it was without it. But just that some of them are stronger than other ones. Neovision units will continue to improve. They'll continue to get better, just as the game always does, and the meta will continue to improve and be established, similar to Gabranth being able to chain while also being able to cover, and also PG Rain being able to support but also chain, stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be, more combinations and role compression. And one of the biggest things if you take away from this video is to pay attention to your resources when you're going into the Neovision era. Especially free-to-play players, and this is what this is mainly geared toward. Right? I mean, like, as a free-to-play player, you really need to come down and say, I can only afford to get this, this, and this, and that's it. In terms of my resources here. They really need to start. You should have been doing this a while ago now. I warned you guys a while ago to do this. Hope you guys took my advice and started saving a whole lot. Now is definitely time to start really considering and cracking down and saying, I don't need this banner, I don't need this banner, I don't need this banner. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Hopefully this helped you out. I know this is very long. This is an extremely long video, and I really apologize, but I couldn't go any shorter than this. So I'm hoping this helped you out, guys. I know this is a pretty well requested video, so if you guys watched it all the way through, or if you just skipped all the way to the end, I guess you could do that too. So there were 2 keywords in this video as a test, and the keyword for the ending of this video are there. So you should type in 2 keywords if you watch it all the way through, or if you just don't care. So the other keyword will be Neovision. So I'm not gonna remind you of the other keyword, of course, but this keyword is hashtag Neovision. So if you typed in both keywords, I applaud you. Thank you for watching all the way through. Hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, please give a like. If you did not like it, please give a dislike. And just let me know down below what you guys might be saving for, or maybe anything you might be curious about. And I might put a reminder at the beginning of the video for anyone who's new to the game, who does not know anything about Neovision, or who's not even new to the game and doesn't know anything about Neovision. I'm talking really fast, sorry. I want to put it like a reminder of, I got a playlist of a bunch of Neovision guides for you guys. They're a little old. I might make another one soon, but I think those ones should be good enough. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go get you out of here, and we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.